Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speaking with Tony P. I am super excited today because I will be joined by a guest speaker. So many of you have heard of TED Talk, and TED Talks are amazing. It's a great platform for people to share their ideas. It's a great place for people like you and I to go learn about new ideas or different ideas. And we all know about a TED Talk, but many of you have not heard of something that I'm going to start off by calling a 10 Talk. And a 10 Talk is basically 10 minutes of someone talking on this channel, and I'm going to be interviewing them. So we're going to start off the first episode with my good friend, Dr. Vinya Sysamouth, who is actually the founder of the Center for Lao Studies. So Dr. Vinya, thanks for joining me. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Sabai, everyone?
Oh, Sabai D. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know it's a very different circumstances while the world is dealing with this coronavirus, but you know what? We are trying to move on with our lives and do what we can do. But I want to go ahead and jump into it. Maybe you can let everybody know a little bit about your personal background and also about your amazing organization.
Sure. Thank you so much for the introduction, Tony. My name is Vinya Sysamouth. I am the Executive Director of the Center for Lao Studies. We are a nonprofit organization and based here in the San Francisco Bay Area. But we do serve everyone across the world. So it's not just here in the Bay Area or in the United States of America. So I am the Executive Director. I run the program. We've been in business since 2005. So yeah, it's been many years, and we're very happy to showcase our many wonderful programs that we have, and also to talk about what we can do to help the Lao community.
Perfect. Well, speaking of that, many viewers actually don't know that I'm Lao American, and most people don't even know where Laos is. So maybe if you could share with everyone, who are the Lao people? And is it an ethnicity? Is the ethnicity Laos, Laotian, Lao? I know it gets tossed around a lot. So maybe you can clarify that and give everyone some background.
Sure. So Laos, or Lao People's Democratic Republic, that's a former name of the country. It's a country in Southeast Asia. The word Laos, L-A-O-S, refers to the country. And the word Lao, L-A-O, refers to one ethnic group from Laos. And they are the largest, the majority of the people in Laos are Lao, L-A-O. And then the word Laotians refers to the citizens of Laos. So we have about, I would say, 64 different ethnic groups in Laos. So they would all considered to be Laotians. And they are groups such as, I don't know if you know, the Mian, the Hmong, the Khmer, just to name a few, Thai Dam, Thai Lu. So all these different ethnic groups would be Lao. Not all Laotians are Lao, but all Lao can be Laotians. So I guess you can compare it to something similar here in the United States. You can be Americans and still be you can still be Americans and can still be different ethnic groups, depending on where your ancestors came from.
That makes sense. So basically, there are a lot of different ethnic groups in the country of Laos, and they have different dialects, languages, maybe even culturally or traditionally, there's some differences. And the difference is, like here in America, although they're all Americans living in America, if they're a citizen, they don't necessarily have the same ethnicity. So you could be Chinese, or you could be Laos, or you can be Hispanic, or you could be black or white, but you're all American, right? So that's kind of the same thing if you were to compare it to Laotian, and people living in Laos have different cultures and backgrounds. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, Tony. And also, I want to point out that some people use the word Laos, Laos, to refer to an individual. So that's not correct, by the way, because Laos is a term that is reserved for the country itself. So if you call yourself Laos, you are referring to yourself as the country of Laos. So I would like to people to understand that you can say Lao or Laotian, but not Laos, unless you're referring to the country.
And you know, that's I'm so glad you went over that, because when I was growing up, I didn't know better, and I didn't know my history, and I didn't know kind of like how this all works. So I started saying I'm Laos, and people that would meet me would say, oh, you know, I know a Laos guy. And after it was actually genuinely when I met you and you educated me, that's when I started using the term Lao. So saying that I'm Lao, you know, is the correct way. So, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, because my thought is that most people that say I'm Laos, they're just kind of repeating what wasn't corrected, and it keeps getting passed down because no one's correcting them. So I'm glad we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if you refer to the language, the culture, the term Lao would be the correct way of saying it, because it refers to a specific ethnic group and specific language. You don't say I speak Laotian, because that would be incorrect. Just like if you say I speak Mexican or I speak American, that's not correct. You either speak English or Spanish or some other languages. So if you say you speak Laotian, that would not be a correct term. Because that refers to the citizenship of the many different ethnic groups from Laos. So you would have to say, I speak Lao, or I eat Lao food, or Lao culture, if you are referring specifically to that particular group.
So with that said, you know, the Laotians that have come to the United States, what was the reason behind that? Why did Laotians migrate to the US, or how did people like you and I end up here? If you can kind of go over that for a couple minutes.
Yeah, so that's one of our programs from the Center for Lao Studies, is the traveling exhibit, where we go around the state of California and showcase the history and the culture, and also the stories of Lao refugees and how they got here to the United States. So just to make it short, there was a war in Southeast Asia. Many of you have heard of the Vietnam War, but maybe some of you have not heard about the Secret War. So the Secret War is a parallel to what happened in Vietnam. That is, it was carried out in Laos, except it was not known, well known as the Vietnam War, because it was, like the name says, it was kept secret. So the US CIA actually carried out a secret war in Laos, where they dropped bombs on the country to destroy the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was a supply route to carry ammunition and supplies from North Vietnam to southern Vietnam by the Viet Cong. So when the war was over, we lost, and the Communist parties took over Vietnam and also Laos. A lot of us who sided with the United States of America had to flee the country for our own safety and became refugees. And that's how the people of Laos came to the United States of America, because we were fighting with the Americans.
You know, I know you have a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure that people would love to learn more about Lao culture, Lao people, Laotians in general. What's the best resource that they can go to? Is there a way that they can follow you or get more information based on some of your resources or your organization?
Sure. I mean, you can contact me directly. You can go to our website and email, or even pick up a phone and call us. The website is laostudies.org. That's LAOSTUDIES.org. That's the Center for Lao Studies website, and you can get resources there. We have Journal of Lao Studies, we have study board program, we have international conference on Lao Studies. Anything you need, you know, you can get it from there. And if it's not there, feel free to get in touch with us by email, or just picking up the phone and call the office.
But thank you once again for taking the time to jump on today.
Yeah, no problem. It was my pleasure, Tony. And yeah, good luck with everybody during this lockdown. And let's hope we get through this pretty quickly, and we can go back and resume our life where we left off.
All right. Until next time, thank you guys. Thanks for joining the episode of 10 Talk. And Sabaidi, everyone. And we will catch you on the next video. Thank you so much.